What's up, guys?
Hey,
welcome back to Friendship Rehab, the podcast, where we talk about everything friendship and everything rehab. I am Kia Nicole.
And I'm Brianna Marie.
And on this episode, wait, before I do that.
It's episode 2.
It is episode 2. Let us know how y'all felt about episode 1. It was just a brief introduction of what Friendship Rehab was and what our goals is for this podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all show the love on that podcast, and let us know what you want us to talk about in the future or future episodes, or just tell us how you feel about the episode. You know what I'm saying? So,
period.
How did you feel about episode 1?
I feel it was great. How did you feel?
I was very, very, very nervous. Extremely nervous. I was. Okay. I mean, I guess because it was the first episode, so it's but the nerves is kind of dying down. Mm-hmm. And it feels like,
it's us.
It's us. You know what I'm saying? So I've gotten over the nerves and over the fear and all of the things. Amen. So, this is episode 2, and on this episode, we will be discussing how we viewed friendship prior to us meeting, and what did that look like for us. But before we get into that, we have to start off those episodes with sugar and spice, and our sugar and spice question will be, what's?
Okay, so on today's Sugar and Spice, the question is, how open are you or were you to friendships?
So I'm going to go with spice for prior to us meeting. Okay. I was not open to new friendships. I was okay with, my circle being my circle, and just I was cool on, not meeting new people and all of the things, because, past hurts, past friendships, you just get into the mode of, I don't think I want no new friends. I'm good with the ones I have. But now that I've grown and I've understand the value of friendships now, I'm very much so open to new friendships and the idea of meeting new people, because, new friendships can actually be a great thing. It could actually change you for the better. So I'm a little bit both with that. Okay. I can't pick sugar and spice.
Okay.
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
How you feel?
I feel the same. So prior to, I wasn't necessarily always open to friendships. I was okay with being cool with people. Yeah. But considering you or calling you friend, that was a little something different. Yeah. And the friendships that I have gained in the last couple of years, somehow, in some way, y'all snuck in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say I want to figure out how. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that I have them. Yeah. Because without those friendships, I wouldn't have been able to weather some of the storms that happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, also, I'm not opposed to new friends, though. Yeah. I'm not opposed to new relationships now. Mm-hmm. I just am not always bubbly. Yes. So, I like my space. Yes. We could chit-chat, we could talk, okay, cool, and then that's that. I don't need to talk to you for another, 4 days.
Yeah. Would that be an antisocial feeling, or would that be just, I need my space, or I'll circle back when I'm cool? How is that? You get what I'm saying?
So, I wouldn't say antisocial, because if we talk, then we talk. If we're texting and I'm engaged in a conversation, I think it's just a matter of me being an introvert. Yeah. So I like my space. Yeah. Yeah. You can have some of my space. Once that time up. Yeah. Yeah. I'll call you back.
Yeah. How do you feel about introverts and extroverts in friendships? It can be a clash sometimes.
It can.
It can be a clash sometimes.
But it's a benefit.
It is a benefit.
Because if you don't have an extroverted friend, then you would be left to yourself. Like,
yes.
you wouldn't have proper social skills.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have different connections. And I think that that's something that's really important. But I can see how they clash, because extroverts always want to go out. I always want to do stuff.
Yeah.
Introverts, we be like,
yeah. I'm a little bit of both. Like, I'm extroverted when, like, we go out, but then my introvert, as soon as I get in wherever I go, I be like, all right, it's time to go. Like,
it kick in so fast.
I don't think I want the people anymore. This is nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I'm a little bit of.
I can see that.
Of both, like.
I think I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
So I people because I have to, not always because I want to.
Yeah.
So for the spaces that I'm in, I show up in that particular light. But once that social media is through, all right, I gotta go. Like, I love y'all, but
And we're running the same, because we will literally ride in the car for hours and not say a word.
Don't need to.
We don't need to say a word to each other. But, like, it's kind of weird because, like, our thoughts kind of, like, we're having a conversation in our head without saying nothing. Yeah. Like, it's really crazy.
Or
how it
we
works.
be in public.
Yeah.
And it happened. And then we start laughing. And people be like, are y'all okay?
Yeah, we're having a whole conversation.
Yeah, like, y'all don't need to know what we're talking about. But
an
we
entire conversation in our head. Like, it's really crazy.
We're fine.
But you would think, like, why y'all so quiet? But, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like a friendship dynamic.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, it speaks of how well your friends match and compliment you. Because sometimes you don't always need this or this larger than life friend. Sometimes you just need somebody that just is a little bit of razzle dazzle. Yeah. That's just gonna get you right to where you need to be, and then you'll be fine. Yeah. And then sometimes you do need that extra friend that will pull you out. Like, I have friends that are introverts that are more introverted than I am. Mm-hmm. So in those particular spaces, I become the extroverted friend because get up, we about to go outside. Yeah. Even if it's just to go get lunch, whatever, and then come back in, and that's fine. But I think it just all depends on your personality and how well your friend is that puzzle piece. Yeah.
That's a good like leeway into a question though. Like, okay. But because I always have questions. Mm-hmm. But like, some people will disown friendships or not disown. What's the word I'm looking for? Give up, disown. Same thing, sure. Disown friendships because they don't know how to deal with introverted or extroverted friends. Like, how can we get into a better space of dealing with our friends, like our introverted friends or our extroverted friends? Can we have that conversation with, like, this is how I like, or when I'm in this space, I like to be left alone, or like, or it's like, it don't be nothing against a friend. I feel like we just need to have that conversation of, this is how I am when I'm in this space. So it's not like a cloud of, well, they're not talking to me right now, or what did I do? Because our friends will have that feeling of, did I do something wrong? Or
you'll take on offense. Yes,
for sure. But like, if we will have that conversation of, or get to know our friends better in those spaces of, no, this is how you are when you're, in your introverted state. And I know that it's nothing against me, but you just, in that. How can we, like, be better in that? Like, I guess I answered the question, too,
a little bit. But I think you need to have the conversation. Yeah. So sometimes in friendships, you go through life as individuals, of course, but something in life could have caused you to go from extrovert to introvert. Yeah. And it could really just be a season of you not wanting to necessarily be out in the public or be as open because you're trying to regroup, or you're trying to recover, or you're trying to balance back whatever you lost. Yeah. But it's just a matter of having a conversation. Like, if prime example, when we did ordination weekend. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's a minister. Huh?
Here she goes. Anyway, leading up to ordination weekend, my life started to change. Yeah. And I could feel the change, but I couldn't necessarily give word to the change. Like, I couldn't explain, oh, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's happening. You would ask me something, I'd be like, I don't know. Yeah. Well, is it something that you're feeling? I don't know. Well, are you sad? I don't know. Are you happy? I don't know.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it wasn't that I had an issue with you. It was I was trying to pinpoint what was happening because so many things were changing. Yeah. So I'm trying to get my footing in the change of life, but I just needed to not be around a lot of people. Yeah. I needed not to be into a lot of different things. I needed to sit. I needed to settle. And I needed to be able to focus on what was ahead of me. Yeah. But again, that was a conversation that we had. Yeah, because I made you aware so that you wouldn't have taken offense and thought that it was something that happened between us that I never communicated. And then now you're like, well, since you're not talking to me, I ain't talking to you. Right. So I think in order to avoid that miscommunication and that misunderstanding that is lying on the other side of that door, it's just easier to arm your friends with that information. Yeah. Even if you say like, oh, I don't want to, I just need a minute. I'm okay. I'm going to check in, but I just need a second because this, and it's knocked the wind out of me. Yeah. And then as a friend, respect.
You have to be okay with that.
You have to
be okay with that answer and be like, okay, cool. How can I assist with whatever you need? Like, what can I do to help? And if it's nothing, you step back and be like, okay, cool. Now you have...
Be okay if it's nothing.
Be okay if it's nothing. And now you have awareness of like, okay, I know how to go through this space with her or him or whoever it is that you're... Them. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is that you're going through. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's good, sis. Come on ahead. Well, go ahead.
You started it, but amen.
You know I did.
You started.
But so I guess our first question would be, how were we prior to us meeting? Like, how did we look at friendships prior to us meeting? That's our discussion topic for the day. How did we look at friendships? How did you look at friendships prior to us meeting?
Okay. So...
Or do you want to talk about how we met first?
No, I think we should go prior to, because that gives a little bit of backdrop.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so quick. I am my only child, and I am also the oldest child. I know that sounds weird. I'm black.
I'm black.
But...
Fix.
So...
If you know, you know.
Okay. So, with me being the only child and the oldest child, for a piece of my life, I was just the only child. And then I became the oldest. Yeah. So as I became the oldest, my parents always told me, like, your siblings are your first friends. Yeah. Or when I was the only child, your cousins are your first friends. Mm-hmm. And my cousins, they're my dogs. Like,
shout out to the cousins who the real friends. Period. Shout out to my cousins.
Your cousins who be your siblings.
That's the one.
Like, your cousins who be your siblings. For sure. So because of that, they instilled in me the importance of building solid foundation within the house before going out. Yeah. So then when I got older, I would have friends, and I've always been a kind-hearted person. Yeah. So I'm not mean on purpose. Now, if I'm pushed there, then hey,
my God,
here we go. Yeah. However, I'm not a mean girl out the gate.
For sure.
But because I started to experience a lot of things in my friendships where I was being mistreated or I did encounter the mean girls, I wanted to make myself more appealing to them because I wanted them to be my friend. Yeah. But it wasn't until my parents were like, well, in life, you're only going to have 5 solid friends. You only gonna have a group of people that's gonna stick with you through whatever. Everybody else, they're gonna come and they're gonna go. Yeah. And it bothered me because I didn't understand what y'all were talking about. Like, what do you mean I'm only gonna have 5 good friends? Yeah. Like, everybody in my class is my friend. Like, what?
Right.
And then I started to realize as I got older, like, they was on to something. Yeah. They was on to something. But it took for me to experience things in order for me to understand what it was that they were saying. Yeah. So by the time I got into high school, I still have friends from grammar school. Like, I still have friends from when, like, 2nd and 3rd grade. No, we don't talk all the time.
Yeah,
but
like,
still, we're still cool. But by the time I got to high school and life started happening, and things started changing with me, then I started to realize, like, I don't really know if you're my friend.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because of how you treated me, but it was because of how I watched them treat others, and I watched them talk about other people. So if you're talking about somebody else to me, 10 times out of 9, you talking to me about talking about me to somebody else.
Yeah.
So it caused me to like go into this. Well, I don't trust nobody because all y'all are weird, and please. And then I still do have like friends, good friends from high school, but still, high school, you transitioning, so it's so much happening around you. Like everybody got their own thing going on. And then I'll never forget when my grandmother's sister died. That shook my entire world. And how people responded to me in that particular phase of life really let me see how people respond to you when you're down.
Yeah.
I have friends that checked on me. I have friends that didn't check on me. I have friends that knew that I was going through a hard thing and they were always there. And then I have friends that I was just like, well, I don't understand. Like, it's never been happening, so let it go.
Yeah.
So that, of course, added on to the suspicion that I already had. So in my adult years, it was like, oh, we could be cool, but like,
I'm good on that.
When I see you is when I see you. I think somebody told me a couple years ago that they saw my life as a revolving door. And she said, people are always going to come in and out. You're always going to change friends. And it bothered me because I'm like, but where's the stability? Because now I'm an adult, so I'm looking for stability. Yeah. Which is something we can talk about at a later date. But I started looking for stability, and then I grabbed a group of friends, and we were cool. We spent the summer together every day. We would kick it. We would go out, blah, blah, blah. And then one argument happened, and that was it. And so it made me even look at people in church different. Like, y'all be the fakest such and such as I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And then the Lord was like, okay, cool. Maybe it's not that they're fake. Maybe your expectation of them was wrong. So let me deal with you about that. Yeah. So then I had to go on a journey of, well, why do I have this high expectation of people? And it was because I had a very high expectation of myself. Because in my friendships, I always showed up. Yeah. Like, you never had to question my loyalty. You never had to question my presence. If you needed me, I was there. Yeah. Especially if I could be there, I'm going to be there. Yes. If I couldn't be there, I'm going to let you know, but I'm going to make it up. Yes. And so after I had that conversation with the Lord, I think I ended up coming into this space where I knew my life was opening up, and I knew that I needed a certain kind of friend and a certain kind of group to hold me up, because I was taking steps that I had never taken before. I was doing stuff that I never done before. Yeah. And then I met my friends turned siblings. Yeah. And so we already went to church together, but we got close. It was so strange. We got close taking a class in church, and then the world shut down. Yeah. So then how we started bonding was we would go grocery shopping every weekend. That was our way to get out the house. That's all you could do. That's all you could do. That's all you could do. Yeah. We would go to the grocery store early in the morning. We would get lunch. We would go home. And then that was how we developed our friendship. And then after that, we just stayed close. So now, on the other side of even that, there was a point this year where I didn't feel safe around them. And it wasn't anything that they did, and it wasn't anything that I could have given accurate definition to. It was just like, something's going on, and I don't know, I love y'all, but like, space. Yeah. And they're older than me, so they weren't bogged down by the thought of me needing space. Yeah. They were just like, okay, cool, whenever you need us, we here. Like, you already know. Yeah.
And shout out to them, because
shout out to Kenza and Rodney.
Shout out to Kenza and Rodney.
Love you.
We love. They're now my new siblings, and
my God,
those are my road dogs.
Period.
For sure. But
yeah. So even just leading up into this year, it turned into, I'm changing your friends again. Yeah. I was like, what? Like, I don't even have time. Like, I'm cool with who I got.
Yeah.
Let me have who I have. And whoever leave, all right, bet. Bye.
Yeah.
Love you, mean it. Over there, though. And the Lord was like, yeah. And the funny thing was, it wasn't until I met you that he told me that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm cool with who I got. Like, who I have, in my mind, they were sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing what needed to be done. I didn't think that my life needed anything extra. And the Lord was like, okay, cool, but could you, like, be nice?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I think we have, like, the same, like, kind of background, though. Like, I am the oldest of 2 brothers. And,
shout out to Adrian and Jaden.
Shout out to my brothers.
They the best.
Those my bros, for sure.
Period.
But, I have the similar background. I have older cousins. I have 2 older cousins, actually. And those, like, they say, you know, your cousins are your first
Period.
best friends, your first friends. And they became that. They actually became my sisters.
Yeah.
And, so I kind of really never really needed friends because, like, I had them.
Facts.
And then, you know, my other 2 cousins came along, and those are my sisters. Like, so we were always together. I never had a problem getting friends because I was always this sweet girl, and everybody wanted to, you know, I wanted everybody to be my friend, or they always wanted to be my friend. I was this, you know, soft-spoken girl.
Yeah.
But I was always kind of, like, to myself, though. Yeah. Like, if I had friends, cool, but I'm good. I'm good on all of y'all for sure, though. Yeah. But, and as I grew up, I had, you know, childhood best friends, growing up in church, and we was like the 3 Musketeers. Couldn't we couldn't tell us apart. Like, we was always around. Yeah. So I always had close friends as a child. Then, you know, growing up, I always was the protector of my friends. Like, don't nobody talk bad about nobody. Like, I always, or the peacemaker, like, in my friendships. And I had always growing up. Like, even in high school, I would have, you know, be the peacemaker of my friendship groups. Yeah. So, of course, I went through heartbreaks with friendships. People didn't want to be your friend no more, you know. And I always tried to understand why. Like, why nobody want to be, why did they not want to be my friend? Like, I didn't do anything, or, you know, and I never could understand that method of people are going to leave. And, you know, you're not going to always have the same friends, you know. So I always thought, like, you know, growing up, if you my friend, you my friend. And that's just what it is. We're best friends to the end. And that's not how it works. So, you know, growing up, you know, I was always, you know, the friendship. So I was friends me. But in 8th grade, I met a girl. Her name is LaPrincia.
Shout out to LaPrincia.
Shout out to my best friend of almost 17 years. Woo, we is old, LaPrincia. But shout out to her. And I remember meeting her, and she was like, "You are so nice." Like,
that sounds like her.
You are so nice. And I was like, "You are so nice too." But that was my friend. My God. Yeah, that is us. That's my friend. And I, of course, met other people. But yeah, like, growing up, I was always okay with, you know, having friends, but still not having friends, because I had my sisters, or I had my cousins as friends. So I was kind of on the fence. Like, I was okay with having friends, and cool if I didn't have friends, cool. But and growing up and, like, older, like, and even in church, like, church friends are something else.
A different breed.
Church friends are different.
And we just gonna leave it at that.
Church friends, yeah, that's another episode, because we got to talk about church friends and how you think because y'all church friends,
Y'all integral.
Y'all.
That y'all.
Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Because at the end of the day, y'all just church friends. Because if you leave that church,
lifetime I'm ready to tell my story.
You're not gonna be friends with that person anymore, or y'all just gonna be hey and bye, you know. So I had a lot of church friends.
Or they're judgmental.
Yes.
About the same stuff that y'all was just doing.
Ooh.
Together. Okay. Sorry. Lifetime I'm ready to tell my story.
Ooh. Wow.
Too much. Too
wow. Wow. No. I was okay with, you know. Mm-hmm. That's my little spill. You already said everything, so my God, you just.
I think.
Why I'm on this podcast with you? No, you're a little heavy.
Why I'm on this podcast with you?
Okay.
But I think to the point of us having family, like our families taught us that we were all that we had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that we were all that we needed.
Yeah.
And it is not to make it seem like we are bullies or we're unapproachable, but they just really made it clear, like, when everybody else is done with you, it's always going to be your family.
Always.
Your family is always going to be here.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I'm going to say for me, something I didn't quite understand the full definition of, but I had the concept and I took the concept and ran with it. Yeah. So I would take that in friendships and it was like, yeah, but your friends are not always your family.
Yeah.
And they have to prove that they are family.
They are family to you, for sure.
So.
Yeah, man, that's good. We're going to take a little break here and just, simmer, because we'll be back after this commercial break. Mm-hmm.
What?
After the commercial.
Okay.
After the commercial, we'll have a commercial break. Amen.
And I work for my sponsors.
Not work for my sponsors.